Hi, fans. Welcome back to Carl Cruz MMA. Today we got a special guest. My guest getting ready, fighting, returning that LFA cage November 7th, defending that title on the line against Beatriz Consuli. She is top Canadian MMA prospect. She's Miss Shannon Clark. Shannon, what's going on? How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So here we are. Done this a few times now, a bunch of times now. Make your return to the
Yeah.
cage, defending that title. When you're going into fight week, do you feel that excitement every time? Is this something that ever wears off?
No, each one is a little different. This one's different because I'm here in Brazil for the whole week, whereas usually you're traveling midweek and everything. But I left Sunday and got here on Monday, so it's just a big travel day, and then trying to adjust to the language, and yeah, it's just a completely different experience. Honestly, this one.
Absolutely. You know, your last time out, you got to fight on one of the biggest LFA cards they were, LFA 200. When you look at that card, it was absolutely stacked. How cool was it to be part of that event?
Honestly, it was awesome. Like it was such an honor. And there's three title defenses. It was just so cool. Yeah, it was a great part to be with.
Absolutely. Obviously, you represent Canada. You're from Alberta, you know, an area that now there's quite a few fighters from that area. Obviously, you have Hakeem Dawodu, you have Chad Analiger, and yourself. There's a few others from that area. What was it like from the get-go in Alberta and finding fights? Is the amateur scene prevalent? Is the pro scene prevalent there?
I never really had a whole lot of issues. I think when I started MMA, there was about 4 or 5 girls around the same weight class that we kind of were growing up together, if that makes sense. And then COVID happened. So then it was like we all kind of ventured off. Some people went out east and kind of we all just went into different areas. But the same at that time in my amateur at the beginning, there was a few of us that was like, hey, they fought, so we could fight and they can do it. And it was kind of like, yeah, there's about 5 of us. And now, like I said, we're either friends or we all just drifted apart to different areas of the fighting career, or people retired and moved on and stuff. So, but for females, like, I mean, I don't fight in Canada, I guess, anymore, but at the time it was never that hard to find me a fight. No.
Absolutely. You know, so many people are watching the sport in this day and age. Very few people understand the sacrifices of being a professional fighter. You know, when you're battling on the regional scene, you guys aren't making Conor McGregor money quite yet, right? A lot of guys have, girls have that 9-to-5 job. Some have kids. You stay up late, you wake up early. You do all this maybe for the opportunity to fight in big shows like you are, win belts, and be at one of the bigger stages of the sport. But what's made you stick with all these sacrifices?
Honestly, just the competitiveness within myself. I love fight camp. There's a hate and love because it's so long. But it's just the mental grind. Like I love that more than even the fight, truthfully. It's like when I'm not in fight camp, it's like, well, I can eat a chocolate bar. Why not? Right. But then when you're fight camp, you're like, oh, like the amount of stuff I have to cut out and everything for my fight camp, it's a lot. So, but at the same time, it's also so rewarding. And it's just the boys come out more and they grind on me harder. And it's just like the amount of work and effort, like I said, it can be love and hate because some days you're just like, my life would be so much easier if I didn't fight. It really would. Like I have a full-time job that I will never quit. I own a company, right? That will never go. Even if I make it to the big leagues, I'll still do that. I have 2 kids. They're both in 6 sports each. It's like I have 2 dogs. Like I have my friends that I still see from different soccer from high school. Like I have so much that I'm just crazy. It would just make my life so much easier if I didn't fight, but yet here we are still fighting.
You know, you mentioned soccer, obviously, before going down the avenue of mixed martial arts. You were a soccer player. You know, I think with you is really cool. It's like one kickboxing class, I believe, kind of introduced you to this area.
Mm-hmm.
When you were growing up, when you were playing soccer, if someone told you you'd be a champion at one of the biggest regional MMA promotions in the sport, what would you say?
I would laugh in their face. I thought the UFC was stupid. When even like in my soccer, like in university and stuff, I would work at a pub, and one of my it was my dad's friend, so that's how I got the job during soccer season because you know your hours were very limited and stuff. And if the UFC fights were on and I was working, I was just like, this is so dumb. Like, who thinks that this is a cool sport? I honestly thought, out of all the sports, UFC, MMA, I thought was the worst because I was just like, how dumb do you have to be to punch someone? Like, why would you do that? Like, and then I met a guy who was a fighter, Jordan Mean, and he was in the UFC. He's one of the kind of that introduced me to the gym that I started training at. Anyways, when I met him, he's like, yeah, I'm a fighter. And I was like, oh my God, you're a loser. Like you literally call yourself a fighter. Like didn't realize where he was either at the time, but I was like, you're a loser. Like, I'm sorry. Like it's a dumb sport. And then here we are. I'm the loser. I watch it now. I understand it. I'm just like, the only thing. So like sometimes I'd sit at the table with my dad's friends and stuff. And the only way I could actually be interested in the sport and care is that my dad would go to like the dollar store or Bulk Barn is what we call them. And then the chocolate loonies like that. And I would gamble. I'd be like, okay, here's $3 or 3 chocolates on this fighter. And I'd pick. That's the only way I honestly could watch the sport. I thought it was so dumb. It's crazy. So like if someone told me I would be doing this, there's no way in a million years I'd believe it. And yet here I am. And I couldn't imagine my life ever not doing this sport. It's crazy.
You know, I think one thing people really enjoy about watching you fight is you're always looking for the finish, whether it be with the hands, whether it be on the ground, with chokes. You prove that time and time again. You have a killer instinct. You're trying to get your opponent out there. How much pride do you take in that style?
I guess I never really thought of it. I just, to me, assume that's what everyone's like or should be like. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm very naive, honestly. Like, I believe there's only one way. So, like, to me, I understand that there's not people that, finish fights or whatever. They're more about countering and, patience and stuff. But I wouldn't know. Like, I had to do that my last fight to prove a point to myself. And that is not me as a fighter. That was very, very, very difficult. And I mean, take away the fight, that is probably the best relaxed I could ever have been and like calm and stuff. So it's good for me to what I did. It was totally different. Again, never will do that. But like, also, I don't know how to control my facial expressions. I'm really bad at that, right? So you can see me after, even when I get my hand raised, I won. I was like, well, fuck this. It went to decision and I lost. Like, to me, that's such a loss when it goes to decision. If you didn't win the fight fair and square, you lost. So, yeah, like to me, you have to earn your win. Like that's how I look at it.
You know, one thing I love about mixed martial arts is all the different morals and values that are associated with it. I've had fighters come on here and say when they first started the sport, they didn't really have guidance. They were going down a bad path in life. The sport changed them. For you.
Yeah.
How do you think you have grown and evolved as a person from this journey?
Honestly, I didn't even really grow or evolve anything until my loss. That was the best thing that ever happened to me. I went into that fight mentally the worst I've ever been in my life. With just a lot of things like work. Last summer, we switched our head office company and the amount of work you have to do to repaper. Anyways, won't get into that, but it was a lot of work. So work was extremely stressful. My home life wasn't easy at that time. Just like my coach and I, like the stress and everything, like we weren't seeing eye to eye. And I'm not someone that would ever have a backbone. And I've learned in this sport now since then, it's like, I'm the fighter. I have a say. But like when you grow up playing sports, it's like, who are you to tell a coach no? Who are you to tell someone that I don't want that game plan, or I don't want to do that in practice, or, hey, my body doesn't work the way that you were hoping it would, or right when you're trying to teach me something, or like, no, I wouldn't do that in a fight. So let's move on from what you're trying to learn and stuff. Right. So, but that fight, it taught me to have a backbone. Like it was such a relief, actually, honestly, when I lost, it was like, not the way you want to lose, not on national TV. There's a lot of things that sucked about it, but like, it was just like, I can walk away now. I can do what I want to do. Like I have the freedom. It was so awesome to now be like, hey, I have to change, because you don't change things when you're winning. I mean, you do, but you don't. Overall, most people don't. If you're on a win streak, why would you change anything that's working, right? You get better at the things, but you don't change anything. And it was just like, no, like I want to change. This is what I have to say. So if I'm coming back to the sport, everyone in my corner, including not just like fighting, but like in my life, friends, family, everything, it's either this is going to be it or I'm done. Right. Like it was just so I grew up since that fight, truthfully. Like I said, I have a backbone. I actually get to say things. I actually can understand now in fighting. It's probably one of the only sports you get to say no, if that makes sense. Like I said, grew up in sports, volleyball, soccer. You're not going to say no to a coach. It's a team sport. This is a team sport until you get into that cage. Once you're in the cage, you're in there yourself and you can listen to what you want to listen to, but you need to have your own backbone. And that's something I never had in life, like not just in sports, but like in life, I don't mean to say like a people pleaser because it's not like I care to make everyone happy, but it's like, I'm just not a mean person. Like I don't want to be rude to anyone. I will make my life miserable to help everyone else. Right. So it's just to have that backbone where I'm like, no, like you're wrong. I'm going to do it this way. That's just a very nice feeling. And I'm respected that way. Right. Like it's not like I'm saying, no, I'm not going to do that. It's just, they're like, okay, like you don't want to do it. Let's move on. It's like, I could have done this my whole career. What are you talking about? So that was a really awesome experience that, after my loss, honestly, that's where I changed.
Do you feel that fighting is more mental than it is physical?
For the most part, yeah, I would say like, at least for me. But I mean, my mental game is the one that needed to grow the most, right? Like I've always been athletic or like in sports, and you know what I mean? Like I've always trained and worked out and done stuff. So that side was never the hard part. To me, the hard part is the mental game of like, you can punch hard, you can keep going. I wouldn't say the mental side of like quitting. I never had that issue, but it's more like, oh, like this is actually important. Oh, like this is actually like, people think I'm good. Like it's just it's something you've never believed in, and like I don't understand. Like why just a little girl? Why do you think I'm good? Like I just never had that side, right? Like I never. So for me, the mental side is way harder than the physical side.
So on Friday night, you're taking on Beatriz Consuli, defending that title. Overall, what do you think of her as an opponent here?
I think she's similar to me. She's a very aggressive fighter, right? So I think it'll be, and I keep saying, like, I think it's me for fighting myself, and the better version's going to win that night. We're both going to look for pressure of some sort, however we find it. And I don't think it'll be like a fight like Shay and I. Shay and I had a fight after the first round. She backed off. And because I was trying to be patient and stuff, I didn't engage her. Whereas I don't see this happening in this fight. I think we're both going to be people that are wanting to be engaged.
So you get to leave North America for this one, obviously going over to Brazil. Is there an excitement in the air knowing that you can kind of play the role of spoiler going into her home country here?
But yes, but at the same time, I'm just a guilty person at the same time. So like, I say sorry after my fight sometimes to the girls because I'm like, I won. I'm so sorry. Like, you feel bad. I don't know. Like, I just feel bad when I win sometimes because like Shay, I beat her in her home place. Naira, same thing in hers. So it's just like, frick, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm grateful I won, but like, I would hate to lose in Lethbridge. Like, I'd hate to lose in front of my friends and family. So I'm just like, oh, I'm so sorry. So like, on one hand, I hope I win, but at the same time, I'm just like, oh, I came out here and like, sorry. Like, I feel bad. Like, I have the mixed feelings when I'm outside the cage for that one.
Absolutely. You know, when you look at your record, one thing that anyone could tell you is you're fighting top level competition here.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be last fight, fought someone 5-1. Before that, last two were 5-0 undefeated fighters coming to the contest. Now Bia 6-0 at herself here. On this journey that you are trying to make it to that next level, do you think this is what you need to be doing, is testing yourself and finding the toughest competition out there?
For myself, yes. If I wanted to make it to the UFC from the get-go, I probably should have went a different route. I never picked an easy fight. Like even before that, when I think my first pro fight was against a 3-0 or 3-1. You know what I mean? Like I keep, like, I didn't pick a 0-0. I've always had really tough fights, like you said. Like I never got anyone good, or not good, sorry, easy. I never got an easy fight. Everyone's freaking good. And then again, as a competitor, it's awesome. But when if you ever want to make it to the next level, it's like sometimes, Shannon, maybe pick the freaking easy opponent and then like build confidence. And right, like that's when I wouldn't say now, like now, obviously you can't pick a bum on the street, right? Like that would have been you can't do that for LFA title, right? Like I screwed myself over. But my earlier fights, that's something in a way, like I had one person, like an older coach of mine kind of saying, it was like, you got too good too fast. Like it was like you didn't get the experience that other people do of fighting the 0-0s, the 1-0s, the 0-1s, like those kind of people at the beginning for experience in the cage. You got to step into only really hard competition. And it's just like you kept growing and your competition already had that much knowledge in there, right? So it was like you had to adapt and you need to grow way faster than all these people because they already got that experience. I only had 3 amateur fights. A lot of people have longer, right? Like it's just, yeah. So I picked the hardest route to make it to where I am, like the hardest route. And I'm just like, crap. Like on one hand, it's great. But on the other hand, I just wanted a bum I could just beat up. Like, frick, would that have been fun back in the day?
You know, for you, for where you're at right now in your career, what's your ultimate goal?
I would really love to win on Friday and then ask me that. Cause like that's my biggest goal is just taking one fight at a time. It's since my loss, it means a lot more to me now. Each fight than before. But yeah, my biggest goal is literally just this winning Friday. I really hope I win.
You know, so one of the byproducts in this sport blowing up the way it is there's more eyeballs on it. There's more fans. We now have a term called the casual fan. I think all fans are good, but if you go to like Boston Pizza or B-Dubs or something, you might hear a lot of booing with jiu-jitsu. You might read some stuff online on social media, hear some crazy takes from fans. Overall, what do you make of all this craziness?
I mean, one thing about me is I don't read anything on social media really. I think it's Reddit or something like that is a website. TikTok, or I don't know what it's called now, but I don't have that kind of stuff. So I don't actually do anything. I have my personal stuff for social media, not a fighting page. So like, I don't really look into that. I don't have time for that stuff. But I hear from other people, they'll be like, oh, I read online this. And I'm like, what the heck is wrong with this world? Why are we so negative? Why are we like, and it's mostly people that don't fight. That's the funny part, right? Like, it's like, and you know what? I will first say, up until fighting, thought the UFC, thought MMA was dumb. I actually hated this sport growing up. It was the only sport in the world I've ever hated. So like, I understand like hating certain things and like jujitsu and like that could be boring. And like I said, I was with you until I did it myself. Once you understand a sport, you're like, no, like that's actually hard work. Hey, I understand why you're laying there taking a breath. Like I totally understand it. So to me, all the negative stuff is like, well, go do it, learn it, and then maybe you'd be more interested in it. Because I understand there are boring fights and I understand people just hold down and like I get it. But at the same time, like, I don't know the people, but I just remember being told like the one guy was holding a guy down, like he was on his back and they're booing him. And I was like, right, but he's holding him down so he's not getting punched. I understand that's not entertaining, but then they're hoping the ref stands him back up. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't understand that as the audience, right? So, yeah, I just wish that people would then maybe learn the sport a bit more, and then you'd understand it's strategic sometimes, right? It's not all boring, but people just out there to get a bloodbath. They just want to watch that.
Absolutely. You know, you talked about the growth and evolution of yourself in the sport, the importance of experiencing that contender loss. But overall, what do you want your kids to take away from this crazy journey that you're on?
Well, when they find out what I do, they don't even know I do this.
This is a secret.
Yeah, like they know I go train and they know like I'll come home with like blood on my shirt or something from the boys one day and stuff. And they'll be like, oh, mommy, is that your blood or no? But they don't know. No, they have no idea that I fight. They've seen my stuff and like it's like, oh, mommy fights and they say it, but they've never watched it. They don't watch UFC. Like they don't know anything about anything. They're just like, oh, mommy just works out. Like they don't truly understand. So I don't know what age I'm going to tell them. Cause like, right now, right? So to me, the 3-year-old's the boy. She's smart enough to probably I could get away with, but he's a boy, dumb. And I'm just like, oh, so like to me, it's like you're not old enough to understand. Mommy can hit, you can't. So until I get that, I don't know. I hope one day they look up and they're like, Mom, you did that. Like you did all that while being a mom. Like I said, they're in 6 sports each right now. So it's like you did all that plus fight camp and like I went from fighting, straight to a pregnancy, straight back to a fight, straight back to a pregnancy. And you worked every day, right? Like I never took a mat leave. I had a baby on, I think the one time I had my baby on like a Friday, that Monday I was back at work. So I got 2 days off. The next day the day I was released from the hospital, I took her to work. Like it's just, I don't get a break in life, right? Like I keep making my life hard. Fighting my life would be so easy if I stopped fighting, but apparently I don't do that. So I just hope that one day they really appreciate that. Like, yeah, you know what? They'll probably hate me because they're gonna go get older one day and they're gonna be like, "Oh, I'm so tired." And I'm like, "Oh, shut up! You have nothing compared to me right now." You know what I mean? Like they're gonna probably hate it one day, especially my girl, because I'll be able to compare more. But no, I just really hope that they're proud of me one day. That's my biggest thing.
Absolutely. All right, Shannon. Last question for you. In a perfect world, what is the outcome Friday night when you return that LFA cage against Beatriz Consuli?
In a perfect world, entertaining fight, and I win somehow. That's what I hope for.
Absolutely. Well, Shannon, man, thank you so much for taking the time out
Thank
of your day
you.
once again to talk, and really excited to see you return that cage.
Thank you so much for everything.
Absolutely. That's it for us today. Carl Prusa. She is Miss Shannon Clark. You can watch her. LFA 221 headliner trying to defend that title Friday night. Take care, fight fans.